Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and to another reaction video. Today we're going to be watching, reviewing, and reacting to episode 4 of House of the Dragon. Alright, I'm excited for this. You guys know I'm a huge A Song of Ice and Fire fan and I've been loving the series so far. So I don't really want to waste any time. I just want to quickly say, if you are interested in getting full-length versions of these reactions, as well as certain Patreon exclusive reactions and early access to a lot of videos, please do check out my Patreon. It does help out the channel quite a lot and allows me to continue to do these things. So let's get on to the reaction. Episode 4, House of the Dragon.
The castle is surrounded by a deep.
Starting right out with the necklace, huh?
Well fortified against any future.
Did you think my great-grandmother is beautiful as they say?
This was half a century ago, Princess.
Yes, it was.
I think that's her point.
That was
Uh-oh.
unseemly, Princess.
The man is older than my father. It's unseemly for him to put himself forward as a contender for my hand.
This is her tour to pick who she's gonna marry, since her father said.
How do you think he would take it?
Do you speak of how you rejected every suitor his grace put before you, or how you abruptly ended the tour with 2 months remaining?
She's like, neither of those are gonna go well, are they? Oh! This is from the preview. Daemon's about to come swooping in. Say hello. Spec, you can't have popcorn, buddy.
Take cover!
Whoa! He's like, I'm just saying hello.
I'm fine.
It's like, I just saying hello. She liked it. Oh yes, they gave him a crown. Is he carrying the crab feeder's hammer? Looks like it.
You wear a crown. You also call yourself king.
Once we smash the triarchy, they name me King of the North Sea. But I know that there is only one true king, Your Grace. My crown and the stepstones are yours.
You can tell he's trying to look all stirred, but you can tell he's happy. And he's not.
Rise.
Literally everyone except Otto was happy.
I enjoyed it for as long as I could. Have every young knight and lord in the Seven
Young.
Kingdoms fawning over you. How romantic it must be to get imprisoned in a castle and me to squeeze
Oh,
out
jeez.
airs.
She's like, yeah. Oh. Wait, a moment of tenderness for
How angry is he?
for Alicent?
I am glad you are home. I find I have few friends, baby. I like to believe I'm still the Lady Alicent, but all anyone sees when they look at me now is the Queen.
I've missed you too. kiss.
Oh my god!
Una no hadaranni apicagoni seitax. The parsiri morcacotas. Enkos vochos potilundaor.
Eu munia mastas lir mundasmeister. In case mundasma avisa. Gleison eon zugose gleise con coste de or. Viajahi habijosa.
Zugos gleisilun gelundaor. Me papas gleisilun.
Such a lonely prospect.
Oh, the flirting.
But over the past few days,
The like level of the flirting that is happening there. Uh-oh. 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 Oh boy. Here it comes. Here it comes. Yep. So they go.
Where are we going?
Oh shit!
Child.
And who might you be running from now?
It's the hob.
Oh shit!
Princess.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
You take care, boy. Next time you might.
Oh no.
Pardon me, Your Grace. The king has requested your presence.
Oh god.
The hour is quite late.
Yes, Your Grace.
Oh, oh Jesus. Oh no. Oh god. Oh, Alicent.
Fucking is a pleasure, you see. For the woman as it is the man.
Oh, Alicent. Oh, Alicent.
No marriages.
Nope, he's not doing it. He's not doing it. And now she's all upset. Daemon, you idiot.
Daemon?
Oh my god. He's like, where the hell were you? She's like, I don't want to. And you don't want me to. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Someone's about to report some shit.
apology.
It could only take me so far in this life.
You never were one to stay idle.
Hard lessons are not welcome, but suffered.
You see? You see what you did? Woo!
You can pay for the room on your way out.
She's in charge of the little birds. Working with Otto.
She was carrying on with her uncle. They were engaged in behaviors unbecoming of a maiden. Of a princess.
Oh, bro, you know, he's like, don't make me say it.
What must I say of the owl?
You so
Oh, God.
with ambition that you would have my daughter stalked, spied upon, awaiting your best chance to destroy her reputation.
I have no such intent, Your Grace.
Oh boy.
Yourself a cover.
Yeah, this is definitely backfiring.
Your designs are obvious. Do you wish to have your blood on the Iron Throne so badly that you are willing to destroy mine own? Just get out.
Yeah, he had to know that wasn't going to go well. Like, that even if ultimately this goes with his plans, this is not a message you thank the messenger for. And he's not wrong either. But what the messengers saw wasn't totally wrong either, because if Daemon hadn't stopped.
And then Daemon sank into his cups and abandoned me for some whore. Should have known better.
So you did not...
Must I truly refute that? Daemon never touched me. I swear this to you, upon the memory of my mother.
It was foolish of you to place yourself in a position where your virtue could even come into question. The king has strived to find you a good match, and so have I. If that lord were to think that you were being...
Alicent, you're acting really bitchy.
Everything. I know.
And the hard thing is that I feel like she is kind of trying to protect her, but also there's like an element of just jealousy here because, you know, of her own experience is certainly not. Oh boy, this is gonna be bad.
You say nothing.
What does it matter, brother? When we were Rhaenyra's age, we fucked our way through most of the brothels on the Street of Silk.
You young men. She is just a girl. Your niece.
Rhaenyra's a woman grown. Better her first experience be with me than some whore.
Oh Jesus.
You have ruined her. What lord will wed her now in this condition?
Who gives a fuck what some lord thinks? You are the dragon. Your word is truth. I want Rhaenyra. I take her as she is and wed her in the tradition of our house.
You are already wed.
That didn't stop Aegon the Conqueror from taking a second wife.
You are no conqueror. You are a plague. Sent to destroy me.
Give me Rhaenyra.
That's what he wanted.
And we will
That's
return
what
to
he
House of
wanted.
for glory.
That's what he wanted.
Force. It's not my daughter you lust for, is it? It's my throne. Whatever transpired, Rhaenyra is not innocent.
Only because Daemon tried to corrupt her.
Daemon and Rhaenyra share the dragon. They are restless and chaotic.
She swore to me that she remains a maiden.
And I believe her.
No. She swore to you that she didn't sleep with Daemon.
Your courtship is at an end. You will wed Selene Valarian, and you will do so without protest.
The son of the sea snake.
Yes.
So I can be a remedy for your political headaches.
You are my political headache.
He wants Aegon to be named heir. And he will stop at nothing to see it done. Including spying on me to bring about my ruin.
She's right. And he knows it.
You speak.
You said it yourself.
Of the conqueror's vision.
You said it
and
yourself.
The need for strength and unity across the realm. But how can that be accomplished with your most trusted advisor so self-interested?
Every lord and lady that calls for an audience with me. Every man on my small council and all councils past has been self-interested. It is unavoidable.
I disagree. I will do my duty as heir and wed Selene. But you must first do yours as king.
Oh, Grace.
I will never recover from Emma's death. But Alicent, she took me through the worst.
Oh, he knows. He knows. Yes, he knows. He fucking knows.
I only now realize
yes.
how well calculated it was.
No, it's not.
Absurdity. The Queen loves you. As I know you love her.
Your interests no longer align with those of the...
A tea, Princess. From the King. It will rid you of any unwanted consequences.
She's like, wow, my father does not believe me. Okay, guys, that was episode 4 of House of the Dragon, and this episode was wild. It was off the charts. They did a fantastic job this episode with showing the nuances in all of these relationships. The complicated motivations that they all have going on behind the scenes here, and the layers to their feelings about these different issues. Like, I'm honestly kind of blown away by it, because there's nobody here that had a straightforward motive for their actions. There's nobody here that was completely innocent of attempting to manipulate others. But there's also nobody here who was completely dishonest about things that they were saying either, or about their feelings. I'm just trying, so if you, okay. So there's a lot of people, like, at play and of significance in this episode, but really this largely revolved around the interpersonal dynamics between Viserys, Alicent, Rhaenyra, Daemon, and Otto. So I think it's really good that they played it on that level, and we had, you know, the other people that came in at relevant points in time, but the episode really very strongly followed especially the first 4 that I named very closely, and did a really good job of, I feel like, getting us into the heads of each one of these individuals as they go through these different steps. And I want to start out with Alicent, because I continue to feel like they've done an amazing job of making her character come across as much more nuanced and complex than she could have been. And they've done a great job in the last couple of episodes of showing her as genuinely caring for Rhaenyra and wanting the best for her and wanting to help her, despite what she's doing kind of behind the scenes on her father's behalf. And I really liked that they gave us the moment early on with Rhaenyra and Alicent that showed that they were able to come to some sort of level of peace, and we're getting back to the point where the two of them clearly have genuine love for each other and can commiserate on things. to the point where Alicent was worrying about Rhaenyra's well-being and trying to encourage her about marriage and what it could be like, and not necessarily being so bad, while clearly expressing her own discomfort in her situation, and Rhaenyra feeling sympathy for her, feeling badly for Alicent, and realizing that maybe this, despite this being like a calculated move, maybe this wasn't, you know, the great life that Alicent would have wanted. And I mean, we clearly see that it's not. But I'm really glad that they gave us that moment between them, because I think it adds a tremendous amount of depth to what happened later in the episode and to everything that's going to happen with them in the future. Because they could have played it off as, you know, they never reconcile, they just are hostile towards each other going forward. And then when you get that meeting later by the heart tree, it would have been, I guess, just much more antagonistic between both of them. Whereas it had a lot more depth than that. It didn't seem like total manipulation and antagonism. Rhaenyra was sort of telling the truth to her, but of course sort of lying, in that she didn't remain a maiden. She immediately went back and slept with Criston Cole, and she would have slept with Daemon if he hadn't backed away, but she wasn't being dishonest about, you know, she didn't actually sleep with him. Alicent, I feel like, was coming out there partially out of concern for Rhaenyra, but like the frustration that you can see, and like the anger that's like she's trying to hold back in that conversation, where she's talking about her sullying herself, or like that she would be ruined if she had slept with someone else before marriage and all of that. To me, the underlying like pain of that for her leads back into what we've been seeing for her throughout the course of the episode, and that's that she's given up her youth and her ability to have basically a love affair, to fall in love and sleep with someone out of love and lust. She's given that up and instead has married this old sick man, and is just expected to continuously sleep with him while he's got these sores all over him, and do whatever he wants, and have his children, pop out his children and care for them, you know, from a time when she's very young. And this is her life, the future that lays ahead of her. This is what she's got. And she can love Rhaenyra as much as she wants, and she can be as worried about her as much as she wants. But underneath that, too, there's also a shred of, I think, envy, and that is bringing out this kind of this bitterness where she's feeling angry because she never is going to have that opportunity. Whereas if, you know, if Rhaenyra has gone out there and slept with someone, whether it be Daemon or anybody else of her own choosing, whether Rhaenyra goes out and picks her husband and she picks someone young, like, these are all things that Alicent is never going to have. And you can see the kind of, it's kind of just brewing under the surface that there's only so much of Rhaenyra like complaining about things that she's going to be able to take when she thinks of comparing her situation to Rhaenyra's. And I feel like, you know, as time goes on, that's just going to get worse and worse, and there's going to be this resentment. And yeah, so I think that's going to be really interesting to see, and also interesting to see Alicent's relationship with Viserys. I think Otto is right. You know, she does have love and affection for him, clearly, but it's not romantic in any way. That's not the sort of love and affection she has for him. And she clearly also does want to help him and do what is in his best interest. She does seem to give solid advice and to listen to the things that he says, and she seems in that way like a good queen. But even he now realizes, after what Rhaenyra has said to him, and after, you know, what went down this episode, that yeah, she was a young girl that was sent to him by her father, pointed in his direction during his grief for a specific reason, And, you know, now that he's been made aware of it, he can't like close his eyes to the fact that as much as she seems to care for him and be gentle, that like this wasn't a love affair for her, obviously. Like, she's a young woman like Rhaenyra, and like he has to be feeling a shred of guilt with that as well, because if you go back to the conversation that he had where he's yelling at Daemon and basically saying Rhaenyra's a child, well, Alicent, when you married her like years ago, so he has to be coming to a lot of these realizations, and some of that he's taking out on others. Some of his displeasure with his own choices he's taking out on others. Now, if you look at the Otto and Viserys kind of dynamic in this episode, I also think it's fantastic because, like I said, both of them are speaking truths, especially in that last conversation. And Otto, as far as he knows, is not bringing misinformation about Daemon and Rhaenyra. As far as he knows, they did have sex in that brothel, and he was just reporting back what was reported to him and doing his duty. But Viserys isn't wrong either, nor is Rhaenyra, that he specifically was spying on her with the hopes that he would find something that he could take back to the king, some information that would make it more likely that his grandson would be put into the position of heir instead of Rhaenyra. He has been doing whatever he could. He pushed his daughter to him specifically so she would give him a son, and he's done everything since then to kind of elevate Aegon in significance, and even going so far as to try to marry him with Rhaenyra, to do anything possible to kind of get him on the throne. So nobody is wrong in this regard. And the sad thing is that he has been a good hand in a lot of ways, but yeah, his concern with his family's rise and fortune has made it so he doesn't seem like he's that trustworthy anymore. Then you've got Rhaenyra and Viserys, which actually I feel like was a really interesting dynamic and conversation there, because when they were speaking, you didn't have the level of like emotion and nervousness that you had, or anger that you had in, say, the Rhaenyra and Alicent conversation, or the Viserys and Daemon conversation, or the Viserys and Otto conversation. They both just kind of were speaking straightforwardly and to the point, and kind of standing on their own positions. And you could kind of get the sense from that conversation that Rhaenyra might have come out of it feeling like she's in a better place with her father, that she ultimately made her feelings clear and was like, I'm willing to do this, have this marriage for the realm and do what you need done, but you've got to get rid of this hand. And like, he's going along with it. It seems to be going well. But then at the end, he has the Maester bring her the moon tea. She realizes, oh, he doesn't believe me after all. You know, nonetheless, he still thinks that I'm lying, or there's a chance that I was lying, and he still believes Daemon's insinuations and what Otto said over me. Still, he's leaving me in the position of heir for now. So that's seemed like they had a good moment in the midst of chaos, but then it's turned around. And then of course there's Daemon, which I find to be the most complicated of the situation, because I think it makes sense to say that his goal, overall, his goal may have been for his brother to let him marry Rhaenyra, and that was kind of the motivation behind a lot of it. But at the same time, yeah, I don't know. At the same time, like, if he really wanted to force the issue, he wouldn't have pulled back from her. Right? He would have definitely let it happen and made certain that that happened. But ultimately, he still does care about her to some degree. Like, he wasn't just purely playing around with her and manipulating her, obviously. Like, you could tell that that is there. And to me, that answers the question of why did he actually pull back in that moment? Because politically, it would have kind of gotten him where he needs to go. And, but if he cares enough about her to not actually want to do something that could be long-term negatively impactful to her, that's the only reason that he would pull back, that it would make any sort of sense. Yeah. And you get the sense also that from what he's saying, Viserys takes it as he wants Rhaenyra to be married off to him to get closer to the throne, to have more power. And again, there's an element of truth in that, but Daemon's motivations seem more complicated because he does actually care about Rhaenyra, and you can see what he said about them restoring the House Targaryen to its glory if they were together. He does actually see her that way, as somebody that could, and that he did actually feel like he was helping her, say, with the advice he was giving, even though he also had his under the surface games that he was playing, which is interesting. Yeah, so there's just a lot going on in this episode in terms of the interpersonal dynamics with these characters, which I really loved. And of course, they throw in the little things like Rhaenyra is actually spying for Otto now and using the little birds. And, you know, we knew that she was going to become a kind of a mistress of whispers, a kind of Varys-like character. But the way that this happened, the way it started was unexpected. And yeah. So that was certainly very interesting. But now we're in this position. All right, so Rhaenyra is going to end up marrying Sir Leonor. Yeah, and Viserys and Daemon are on the outs again immediately after making up. And I'm curious how they're going to play off the aftermath with Criston Cole and Rhaenyra as well. So I'm sure we'll get to see a lot more of that next week. So yeah, I talked a tremendous amount, so I'm gonna wrap this up, but I want to hear you guys' thoughts and how you felt about this episode overall too. Thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.